Oi, childhood abandonment issues in adulthood. Let's discuss while I eat this big tub of yogurt, blueberry. Childhood abandonment issues in adulthood. I had to sort of let go of this abandonment thing, and it only occurred to me, right? I used to be in psychology a lot, and I forgot if it was the teacher or somebody was discussing shared fantasy. Shared fantasy is the idea that, for example, right, in your childhood, your parents probably, or your dad, your mom, whoever it was, promised you or told you that they were going to love you forever. And maybe a divorce happened, not in my case, but maybe in your case or someone else's case. Just examples here. A divorce occurred or took place. Both parents split. You had a shared fantasy with your family, with your parents and siblings that you were all going to be together, that you were going to be one big happy family. What happened was when the divorce happened, right? In this case, the child whole worldview is sort of broken because you promised them that you were all going to be together, but in reality, something were not going well. You and the mom were not getting along, or maybe it's the siblings and the sibling rivalry or something. But you have always edged into your child's head this idea of one big happy family, never to be broken, or this shared, promise you made with your wife till death do us apart. This promise of being together was broken, and in reality, you could not mend it. Every time you try to start a relationship with somebody, you are reminded that in reality, things always go to shit, that you will be broken apart. Just like your parents divorce, this same thing will happen to you. And so now you have trust issues. You fear, and this fear has always been sort of justified. Your paranoia about being alone is always been justified one way or the other by someone. Oh, I knew they were gonna leave me. But then this is the problem, bro. This is the problem here. If you worry too much about somebody leaving you, and your abandonment issues come out in your adulthood, where you start relationships but the trauma is telling you this person is going to leave, so you start to move in such a way preparing yourself, right? This is the way you're protecting yourself, preparing yourself for when this person does leave out of your life, when this person does finally leave. But by doing so, you do not realize that you're pushing the other person away, therefore actually fulfilling the fate which you set yourself. So now the person, right, you're cold to them, you're not as responsive, they doing everything for you, showing that they love you, but you're sort of like, brother, ew, ew, no, brother, ew. I know it's fake, you're acting fake, until the person has enough and finally leave. And then you go, oh yes, I knew it. I was right. You were going to leave all along. But you have no idea that it's your action and your trauma that actually was pushing that person away little by little, until they had enough and finally left and gave you what you wanted. But you don't think that that's what you want. You don't know. Subconsciously, you don't know that you're doing that. You're pushing the person away. Abandonment issues are only broken when you realize that it was the shared fantasy since you were a child, the shared fantasy of your parents of being together and always together, right? That's sort of making this repetitive ritual sort of relationships that happens to you, where somebody comes and leave. I knew somebody who, if I get up to go to the bathroom and they wake up in the middle of the night that I was in a relationship with, they will check to see where I went. One day I left, bro, and just went somewhere. I think I went to the shop or somewhere like in the early morning, you know. And they looked for me and like, where did you go? They're calling me. They woke up because they had abandonment issues. They've been left before, and just being left in such a way like that gave them the trauma came out, making them think, oh fuck, here we go again. This person has left me too. I said, oh, hey, I'm only at the shop, bro. I just left because you were asleep and I don't want to wake you up over just going over across the road to the convenience stores. What the hell? I'll be back in like a few minutes, bro. And she's like, oh, yeah. And when I came back, she fully told me. And that's when I realized I also have those abandonment issues, but only to a certain level, to a certain extent, lesser than her. And that's when I realized it was a shared fantasy that you will always be together, put in there by your parents. And then it was broken by them or someone else, or someone significant in your life. First of all, you have to realize a shared fantasy, right, is in a way not true, and you're right that people will abandon you, but it is in that you have to realize in what role you are playing. When you were young and a kid and your parents broke up, and they had a divorce or whatever, now they live separately, you had no roles to play in that. But now, as an adult, those traumas are still in you. You have to then now sort of, what you have to do is a leap of faith, and it's something many people will not do, and I will never ask someone to do because it's sort of, you have to muster up a lot of courage here. Is to realize that you are playing a role now in adulthood in people abandoning you. When you were a child, you were living a shared fantasy that was promised to you by someone else. Now that you're an adult, that shared fantasy is sort of broken, but you are now, in a way, playing a role in people leaving each and every time by assuming or preparing yourself for for them to leave to minimize the hurt. Man, I'm PD Kettlehead. I don't understand any of these things that I'm talking about. It's easier said than done. For me, it was harder than I'm making it sound. But you will do well. You will do well, I know. And abandonment issues are not something to play with. So take care.